This just went into my foot.
Wait, it's literally a splinter?
It's like a piece of plastic or something. Hi guys.
What is up?
We can wait to
Wait.
separate the video from the podcast, you know what I mean?
Oh, perfect.
Like how in the video there's always like a little extra at the beginning.
Yeah, behind the scenes. I really think this might be how professional podcasters podcast away from each other.
You think?
Because yeah, I do. I maybe not using Zoom, but I think they do it like this where their video and audio are together. Because so like Annie F. Downs and Eddie, this guy Eddie, have a podcast.
Yeah.
And they're always talking about how they can see each other, but their audio is always like perfectly like I think that this might be how I think that maybe we were just stupid before this.
Probably. Well, stupid is one thing, but also unexperienced.
Yeah, that's true. We truly had no idea what we were doing.
To the greatest extent. Actually, I don't know why I didn't tell you this sooner. Last podcast, I edited, like I said, I was going to on the way to Texas. We're leaving right after we recorded.
Yeah.
And for like 30 minutes, I could not get your audio and my audio to line up so that it didn't sound echoey.
No.
Because I think it might have just been because we were in the same room and the microphones were doing a weird.
Yeah.
Wait. What number is your microphone on?
1.
Put it on 2.
Why?
Because I also think it maybe was the fact that I was like, oh, let's put them both on 1, even though for 9 weeks I've been having mine on 2. And remember when you were like at the end of the thing, it sounded echoey?
Yeah.
I don't know why I was doing that, but that is another potential reason that I figured out.
Oh, okay. Well, mine's on 2 now.
Cool, great.
Okay, wait. So should we start the pod? Have we started the podcast? I'm confused.
No, sorry. Let's start it.
Okay.
I'll do the intro, I guess.
Okay.
All right. Why is it weird? Okay. What's up, guys? Welcome back to Seriously Fun with Katie and Sarah. It's Katie here.
What's up? Sarah here.
And this week, it's like every week we're trying a new way to record the podcast.
I'm here for it.
I'm here for it too. So this week we are on Zoom instead of FaceTime, which actually I just realized something that we need to be doing.
Headphones?
Yeah. Wait.
Gosh dang. No, we don't. No, we don't. No, we don't. We do not need to do headphones because the way that it saves, it's not going to save. No, we don't need headphones.
I'm scared.
No,
okay, I think you're right.
No, because when I've saved a Zoom meeting before, like when it saves from like if I was watching it or whatever.
That makes sense. Oh, so like it's saving the internal audio pickup, not the fact that your audio is going into my microphone right now.
Yes.
Here, back at it again with another podcast planning meeting during the podcast. Sorry, guys. We're just trying to figure it out.
Every single time.
Yeah, we just want to make the best, most professional looking content for y'all, and it is pretty confusing.
No, actually, so this guy that I know does a podcast, and he uses like legit like setup. I had never seen his setup before, and then one of my friends was like a guest on his podcast and like put it on his Snapchat story, and he has like the things that you see in like radio stations with like the mic coming out on like a big thing, and he has the headphones and he has a big thing that he talks into.
Oh my
gosh. It's so legit. And I meant to go look. I asked my friend that was there, was like, oh my gosh, like where'd he get his mics? Like where'd this come from? And he was like, oh, it's on his YouTube page. Like you can go see where he got his stuff from. So I'm about to be looking that up. I'm sure it's like maybe it's not super expensive because he's not a podcast. I mean, he's a podcaster like me and you, but he's not like.
It's not an established podcaster.
No.
Wait, that's funny. My question is like, why is it necessary? Like from a tech side, that's what I want to know.
Oh, see, I don't know. I think he just likes to go all out in everything that he does, and so he was like, well, if we're gonna do this, let's do it.
Got it.
But That's a great question.
I'm sure also on the internet there are like tons of videos that are like how to start a podcast, and then
Oh.
they actually give you steps and actual helpful tips, but we have never watched one of those.
Yeah.
So we
Uh,
just said we can figure it out.
and here we
And
are.
here we are figuring it out. Week 10. We
That's
didn't
insane.
take a second to like be in awe of how many weeks we've been doing the podcast, but this is
That's a
week
lot of
10.
weeks.
10 weeks?
That's a long time.
That's like longer than I've been alive.
Okay, that's really, really dramatic. Really dramatic.
Yes, as we do.
I think that we need, okay, can I take us serious for a second?
Yeah, let's go.
I think that we need to discuss, because I feel like it would be wrong of us to not talk for a minute about like what's going on in the country.
Sarah, I was just thinking about that
Okay,
right before we
perfect.
started.
I was thinking about that yesterday when we were supposed to record, and I was like, we can't not say anything because that's terrible. So
Yeah, I felt the same way on Tuesday. I led life group and I was just telling them, I was like, guys, we can't just keep going like nothing is happening in our
Correct.
country. And so, yeah, I totally think we should talk about it.
Okay.
Would you like to start by saying something, or you want me to tell you my feelings, or what?
Yeah, sure. I think like it's so hard, and this is obviously it's not hard compared to what other people are facing, but it can be, I feel like, sometimes scary to like talk about like the Black Lives Matter movement and all of this stuff, because it's like, oh, I don't want to say the wrong thing.
Yeah.
And someone's, I'm sure everyone's been saying this, but I heard it on a podcast. They were like, the only wrong thing you can say is nothing. Like,
Wow.
that's, you know what I mean? And I think too, like, let's say I say something wrong, like this is a chance for me to educate myself more. Like if I say something incorrectly and someone corrects me, great, this is what I want. Like,
Definitely.
you know, I want to learn and educate myself more on this because it's so important. And it's like, it's really sad that it took more lives being taken
Yeah.
for it to now be this like big thing. But also, oh man, it makes me emotional, which is like, obviously this has nothing to do with me, you know, like
Yeah.
it's so much bigger than that. And man, it's so sad. And I've learned, literally this past week, I have learned so much. And like it's just sad that it's taken this long for myself to even start to learn more, you know?
Yeah.
Like in the past, I feel like I've been like decently educated on like social justice issues. And then this week I was like, actually, I know nothing. And that's like really my fault. Like,
Yeah.
and it's like, man, I've really messed up, where especially as a Christian person, someone that loves Jesus, this is something that should be on the forefront of our brains all the time. And oh my gosh, Carlos Whitaker, I talk about this man every week. I feel like he's so good. He's so good. And he's been posting a lot of stuff, and he's been doing like Q&As where people ask him questions and he answers them. And it's been very helpful.
Yeah.
And he talked about this one thing. Somebody asked the question of, if I live, it was like, the person said, like, I live in a like really rural community with zero diversity. So what are some things that I can do, even though in my community there's no diversity?
Yeah.
And he was like, I love that someone asked this. And he said, because I think part of the problem is that we're not realizing this is not just an outward conflict. This is a conflict of our heart. And that even if you're not surrounded by diversity, which you should be, number one, there's the number one thing, you still probably have a heart problem, and you should be looking at your heart. And I was like, that's so true, of like, even if you're not saying things that are hateful or judgmental or racist, that doesn't mean you're not thinking them, or, you know, and it's like, that's a problem too. Like racist thoughts are just as bad as you speaking racism towards someone else.
Yeah. And I think something that is coming to the surface is that it just runs so deep. And just, I mean, I guess even just speaking on like wickedness in our heart in general, but especially racism, as we're talking about it in this time, is like we can be so unaware of it, and it can just be so deeply suppressed in us, and just like people keep saying like racism is learned, and of
Yeah.
course that is so true. And so it's like your entire upbringing is one way, and then
Mm.
now the world has evolved and has changed, and
Yeah.
mindsets and things are way less acceptable now.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think, man, this week, I guess it's been
Yeah.
a week now,
Probably about, yeah. No,
just
more than a week, actually, I think.
yeah, more than a week, has been really overwhelming. I totally relate to what you're saying about like not knowing what to do, or like not wanting to
Yeah.
do the wrong thing. One thing that I love and hate about myself is my ability to just like turn the other cheek.
Yeah.
And I think that's super characteristic of me in, like I said, good and bad times. But I
Yeah.
really like, I'll be honest and say that until this, like the murder of George Floyd, I, in the past, have been really like, semi unaffected almost by what was
Yeah.
happening. Probably also like because of my age, like being in high school, you're not a responsible, societally responsible adult, nor was I a Christian. And so I was just like, who cares? It doesn't affect
Yeah.
me. Also learning about privilege and how real that
Yeah.
has been in my life. But yeah, man, this week and a half and ongoing, I've literally felt so heartbroken continually for the people, like the African American community in the world and across our country, and just all the people that are hurting,
Yeah.
like actually mourning with them. And yeah, just also the whole media blow up has been extremely I guess like warranted is what I'm trying to say.
Like, I don't think we've ever seen something like this on social media before. I mean,
That's
that's
what I
the
was telling
point,
someone the other
but
day. It's been a very long time since something like this has just taken over.
yeah.
Actually, I can't really think of anything. You're
I
probably right.
can't think of anything. And I think I saw something that was like if something about the whole media thing being overwhelming, and like, oh, like people thinking that, oh, this is so much. And it's like, imagine though, if you, oh, it makes me emotional. Okay, I'm fine. This is not about me. Whatever.
You can still be emotional.
It was like, imagine if this was your whole life. Like, imagine if your whole life was defined by racism, and your whole life was defined by, things that you have to do differently than the rest of the world because of the color of your skin. And it's like, I can never understand that, I will never. I'm getting serious today.
I know, it's so real.
I will never be able to understand that. And so, yeah. But I was like, that's such a good point, because it is this week of media or whatever. It's like, oh man, it's so much. And then someone said that, and I was like, oh, I need to check myself and check my heart of,
Yeah, like
man,
this is my social media circle, but this is other people's life and the life that they've lived for
forever,
80 years, however old you are.
Yeah.
No,
it's been, and I think you said something earlier about like mourning with people, and I think that's so important. Of like, that's like the whole, I will never understand, but I stand with you, and like, I will never know what it's like, but I'm here for you. I'm stand with you. I will fight for you. All these things. It's so important, I think, especially as people that love Jesus and say that we believe that everyone is created in the image of God, like to not just be like, oh, this is sad for them, but to actually mourn with them, and not just for them, but with them, I think is such a, like, that's, I've just seen so many things. It bothers me when people want to bring Jesus into arguments against Black Lives Matter, or into arguments of why we shouldn't do this or that, protesting, whatever. And it's like, did you read the Bible? Jesus flipped tables in the sanctuary because of his righteous anger. Like, don't come using my Jesus as an excuse for your racism. Like, that's not what we're here for. And that's not, like, I can't imagine the hurt that Jesus feels about all of this, and how we need to be reflective of what Jesus feels and how Jesus feels about Black people and Black lives. And it just,
I know,
it makes me so upset when I see people like use Jesus to defend their own racism.
Using the name of Jesus to defend things that could not be farther from the character of God.
And
could not be farther.
I'm like, what Bible are you reading? Because it's not
Like,
mine.
where are you reading this? Because yeah, man, just in the past week, I feel like I've been just asking God, like, give me your heart
Yeah.
for these people and for your world and for your
Yeah.
children, because it is so hard. I was gonna say something else. I think the first thing that I posted, I guess, like a week and a half ago, or shared to my story or something, like, just yet another reminder of how broken our world is. And
Yeah.
I guess that's just been a huge thing too, seeing how many things have stemmed from the murder of George Floyd, and like
Mhm.
just every avenue of different topics and like buzzwords to be educated about, and to
Yeah.
for someone to have an opinion about, really. And
Mhm.
I think that's more what I'm referring to when I say the media has been overwhelming, because just as many people as there are, that's how many opinions are out there.
Mhm.
And I just think that also, as a Christian, it's really important to just be really careful to balance media intake.
Oh,
And
definitely.
for me, it's like, as I can acknowledge that I'm on the undereducated spectrum of this
Mhm.
topic, social justice and all of that is so just expansive. And so for me, it's like reading everything I see on social media
Yeah.
is probably not helping my
Yeah.
brain and my heart. And especially to like you said, like try to reflect the character of Jesus in all of
Mhm.
this and mourn with our brothers and sisters. Um, Reading people's angry opinions on social media and Facebook and Instagram is like not maybe the best thing for me, at least. Well, I would go to say probably not for anyone. So I've definitely been trying to balance, because it's like you want to be informed and you want to feel like you're helping and doing things and being educated about, what to do.
Yeah.
um but then drawing the line of like, actually this is more divisive than
Mhm.
unifying at this point. Like,
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah,
want
I've
to
been
cross
trying.
the line into more division.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I've been trying to like not pick and choose because that sounds bad, but like on media decide that like okay, this like you said, like people angrily tweeting like well, okay, I guess there's a difference between I think righteous anger and then people who are angrily tweeting things not I'm trying to think of how to word this. Like things that are what am I trying to say?
Like,
People who are fighting on Facebook, I really don't need that. That's not going to be helpful for me.
I would
You know
say
what I mean?
the intention of the message is everything.
Yeah. So I've been
Like
trying to
these
balance it with like podcasts. Like when someone posts, "Hey, I listened to this podcast. It really helped me," or whatever. I'm like, "Oh, let me go give it. Let's try this out." A podcast. I got some books. Like some things other than just straight up like someone posting on social media, which can be very helpful. I'm not saying people posting on social media is not helpful because I've learned so much from like different Black creators on Instagram and influencers that I had never even heard of. And I was like, wait, I love these people. Why am I not following them? This is
Yeah.
great content and educational for me. So those kind of things, yes. But also like taking a break from Instagram and be like, okay, I'm going to go read this book or I'm going to go listen to this podcast and not read the hateful comments that are on everyone's posts and whatever. So
Yeah. Yeah. I guess we should, not should, but I just want to say, like, if you're listening to this podcast and you are a person of color, we love you
yeah,
and we honor you.
yeah,
And man, yeah, I just got chills. Like, we're sorry and we're praying for you. And if you ever need a shoulder, an ear, anything, literally anything, like, we're here for you.
yeah,
Um,
definitely.
yeah, we love you guys so much. Everyone that's listening, we love you. And we're
Yeah,
praying for all of you guys. This is a really hard time.
yeah.
Seriously serious.
Truly. If y'all have any resources that you think we should be listening to or reading or
Yeah.
people we should be following, please, please, please let us know. I like want to learn and need to learn and so if you have any resources, please send them our way.
Definitely,
Um
definitely.
so yeah.
Man, I know it was really interesting. We were in Texas, like I said, and Kendall's mom was like, "What do you guys think? The like news is on with all the
Yeah.
riots and everything." And we're like, "Okay, here we go. Let's talk about it." But that sounded dreadful. we should be talking about it. It was just funny 'cause,
Yeah.
like, with my roommate's mom, who like I don't really know very well. Yes, let's dive into the deepest possible topic we can think
Yeah.
of.
Yeah.
But it stemmed into a lot of really beautiful conversations, not only with Kendall's mom, but also like just me, Kendall, and Brienne just had a
Yeah.
lot of time to just sit around and reflect and just
Yeah.
have a safe space to
Yeah.
talk about really hard things and to, see what's in our heart and
Yeah.
just like process everything. I think
Mhm.
kind of right when we started talking about this, it reminded me of one of the first conversations we had about the coronavirus and how the balance of like maybe you are healthy and you're safe, but like you can still mourn the end of school and like you
Yeah.
don't have to be hospitalized for your feelings to be valuable.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of, I guess, in a way, I think every person to some extent needs to, yeah, just like feel their feelings and definitely be analyzing and taking a look at their heart,
Yeah.
and just proceeding with caution.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes.
Man, seriously serious today. But it was needed.
Yeah.
Th-
Oh,
th-
I'm so
We,
glad
we
you
could
brought
not
that
have
up.
done this podcast today and not talk about it. That would have
I'm
been, I
sure.
think, terribly tone deaf, ridiculously offensive.
Yeah, and a super bad reflection of like both of our hearts because this has been at the forefront of my mind,
Yeah.
pretty much every single second since it all started blowing up. So
Yeah,
I'm glad
definitely.
you brought it up. I'm sure we would have gotten there eventually.
Oh, definitely. There was just no way we could have done this without that for sure. And I think my favorite part, not my favorite part, that sounds terrible. There is no favorite part about this, but it's been, I think, really beautiful seeing all the influencers and all the celebrities and all whoever who have spoken and who have done things and have been at the protests and for example, Chicks in the Office, my
Mhm.
girls, both of their podcasts they're like very always lighthearted, fun, pop culture. Both their podcasts this week were very serious, were very informative. They had a guest on for yesterday's episode talking about all this. And so I was just like, I think that it could have been easy for them to just been like, oh, whatever, we're just going to keep on posting like normal. And it's like, it's nice to see other people recognize that we can't do, like, that's so ridiculous. And like, you can't just keep on living like nothing's going on
Yeah.
because that's not
Really.
accurate.
I saw something that I really loved. It was someone was making a, I guess, argument against people being like 2020 is canceled because this has been
Yeah.
the most chaotic year ever
Yeah.
in a while. And so someone was saying like, actually 2020, man, how our eyes have been opened
Yeah.
to a lot of things and how
Definitely.
much just new experiences we've been able to go through, though they have been
Yeah.
extremely unfortunate.
Yeah.
um I would like to believe we're going to come out of this year stronger, which
Yeah.
sounds cliche, but like it's so true. I mean,
Yeah.
trials make you a more whole person. That's biblical. And
Yeah.
so yeah, I it's so weird to think about January to June of this year, and I don't
January
even
seems like a whole nother planet.
a whole nother planet.
Well, my favorite thing I've been seeing that I think's very like telling, and I think everyone should ask themselves this question. It's like in however many years when your kids are learning about the year 2020 in school and they ask you, what were you doing in 2020? What is your answer going to be? And it's like, that's so good of like, do I want to tell my kids, oh, I was sitting around doing nothing? Or do I want to tell them, I was fighting for change. I donated this. I signed these petitions. I went to this protest. I did these things. And it's like, that's so, oh, got me. I was like, man, that's it right there.
Yeah. Oh, I saw that too, and I was like, oh my gosh, how am I going to explain this to my children?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But 2020, I can't believe it's literally not even July. We're not even 6 months in. We're like 5 and a week in.
Yeah. Man.
Insane.
Jesus, help us. Okay.
Truly.
No. Yeah, what a time to be alive.
Truly. It's just crazy, and I keep thinking, like, when we read about things in our, like, history books, like, even though that's a whole other topic conversation of the lack of, education kids receive on civil rights and Black history, a whole other topic, because there is an extreme lack in that. But the things that we did learn, the fact that we are living now in times that our kids will learn about,
Yeah.
hopefully in a more effective way than
And
what
then
has happened.
something that maybe it's just hard for me. I've never enjoyed history in school because I think it's very difficult for me to, I don't know. I genuinely think history is very important and understanding
Yeah.
it actually is a game changer. But the thing that people have been posting on social media a lot of like the timeline
Yeah.
of like African American oppression in America, or I guess in the world, and then like the civil rights movement was
Yeah.
not that long ago.
Not at all.
Not that long ago at all. Something I was talking, we were talking, hello, every time. Abby and I were talking about the generational effects of, or like racism through generations, and
Yeah.
how the world that our parents and especially our grandparents grew up in
Mhm.
is so vastly different from the lives and the world that we are growing up in, and
Yeah.
how things have just changed, and like I was saying earlier, are like completely unacceptable.
Yeah.
But just thinking that like someone was a teenager in the 60s and someone being a teenager in the 2020s or the 2010s, like wow, that is going to be a completely different person with a
Yep.
completely different worldview. And so then it's
Yep.
like thinking about how this idea of racism can be changed and healed within families is
Yeah.
makes a lot of sense. Like you need,
Yeah.
I think a lot of people have been saying, I was listening to Mike Todd last night before I was going to bed. He posted this like, he posted an old message that he had done on racial reconciliation, and then
Mhm.
towards the end it was him in real time being like, it starts at home.
Yeah.
Or that was just one of the things that he was pointing out, and I think that's so real, that's so true. Having crucial conversations and hard
Yeah.
conversations with your family, the people that taught you the things. I don't know, I almost feel like our generation has the responsibility now to like reverse the curse in a way. Not
Yeah.
saying that every person grew up in a racist household, because that's not true, but
Yeah.
if you did, now it's time to have
Yeah.
a
Oh,
conversation.
young people right now, our generation, the generation even below us, like teenagers now, are literally going to change the world. And that's why, like, I think I saw something that said you can't be posting all these things on your social media and all this, but then not having crucial conversations in your house with your
Yeah.
families and your whoever that's, whatever. And I was like, that's so good of like, what good am I doing? But if I'm sitting at dinner and my whoever is being racist and I'm just sitting there letting it happen, like
Yeah.
what are we doing, And so no, I think that's why I mean I'm such a big advocate for young people are
Yeah.
so important. Obviously, I'm a youth pastor, teenagers, but I think one of like there's this quote, and this is specifically about the church, but I think that this can apply like to just the world. There's this quote that says a lot of people say teenagers, kids, whatever are the future of the church, but they're not. They are the church. Like
Mm.
why? And so I think that works anywhere. You could be like, oh well, teenagers, they're the future of the. No, they are the world. They're
Yeah.
not the future of the world. They are the world right now.
Yeah.
And so I think, oh man, yeah, no, I think young people, teenagers, young adults, whoever are going to change the world. And I can't wait to see what, hopefully, our world will be better in however many years because of the young people right now doing hard work and having hard conversations. And
Yeah.
yeah,
Another thing Mike Todd said that I thought was interesting but also heartbreaking is like, it's a heart issue,
yeah,
hard and hard. But he was like, give it however many years, we could defeat racism, and
Mm,
then it's just going to be another thing,
yeah,
because of the division in the world. And
yeah,
that puts it into a lot of perspective. I mean, I'm thankful for like I like don't have any other words but to say like I'm thankful for Jesus. Like I'm just thankful for my salvation and like the transformation that has been done in my heart so that I can see this clearer. Like things make more sense when you have a rock solid truth to rely on, and
100%.
also just Jesus has all the answers and I wish he would tell me them, but but I know they're in there somewhere.
Yeah. No, I definitely think I can't, man, thanks Jesus. Like truly, man. Oh, yeah.
Because it's like I was telling Kendall Brian this too, like just a moment of vulnerability. Like my brain wants to water it down in a good way to just like make it more simple, because I think that as humans and a lot of times as Christians, like it's just so easy to overcomplicate things because there are so many things to talk about. But it's like, thinking of this idea of racism, man, this is like, I don't know, controversial, I guess, but here we go.
Here we go.
Me genuinely thinking about what I'm about to say before I say it. That doesn't happen too often.
Yeah, me neither.
I get like, I don't know. I think racism can be dealt with outside of people making Jesus their Lord and Savior, but not really. I mean, like, I have hope for the world, but unfortunately, we are living in a fallen, broken, sinful world. And the reality of that is division, and it is hate, and it is racism, and it is sexism, and all the things that we see on a daily basis that are just horrific. And it's like, that is the result of sin and the fall of man. And so it's like the watered down version in my brain is like, people need a change of heart, not, and then it's like, yes, policy. I think I've like a ton of pastors are saying this right now, like, yes, policy change is important, but what's really important is like the state of your heart. And
because I think like I'm all for policy change. I don't even know how many petitions I have signed for policies to be changed. But I think we can change a policy, but who's like to follow that for this law to be followed and for people to respect each other? That's a heart change, you know, like all for policy change. Do not hear me wrong. Like,
definitely. No, that's
all for it. But no, you're so right. The reality of like just me respecting other people is a heart change.
Totally.
You know what I mean? Like there can be a law or a policy and maybe people follow it, but their intentions, the way that they think, the way that they like microaggressions, the stuff that I am learning about microaggressions, blowing my mind. Just things like that it's like, that's going to come from a heart change. And man, it's just like respect and love. And I don't know why those things are so hard for so many people to do, including myself. I'm not like saying
I was about to say, let me be clear that it's like, okay, yeah, my salvation is secure at this very moment, but that does not make me like, now I'm doing all the things right. It's like, even within the church is the actual, well, I was going to say more unfortunate, but just like generally unfortunate thing is that I could scream and punch a wall because people are so just broken. Like we do not know what to do. Like
what's so heartbreaking is that the church, capital C church, I'm not talking about like a specific church, capital C church, should be the model, should be the example, should be where the rest of the world looks to for racial reconciliation. Unfortunately, that's not the case, and rather normally quite the opposite. I'm not saying things aren't getting better, that things are changing, but walk into a church on a Sunday morning, let's look at how diverse the audience is. Let's look how diverse the worship is. Let's look at how diverse the people speaking into the congregation.
Yeah.
I'm not saying there aren't diverse churches. There are. I'm
Plenty.
not saying that there are churches not doing this, because I truly think there are. But as the church, we should be the example, and that's just not the case.
Yeah. And
I think the lack of white evangelical churches that have spoken out about Black Lives Matter is astronomical. And it's like, what are we doing? What are we doing?
yeah.
Jesus was controversial.
He the most controversial.
Jesus was the most Jesus hung out with the people that you weren't supposed to hang out with, right? Jesus loved the people that, oh, we're not supposed to be by those people. Jesus said the things that were like, whoa, what's Jesus doing? Jesus was killed because of how controversial he was.
Yeah.
Yet we're so scared as the church to say anything. It's like, who are we following? Because this is not what Jesus intended for us. This is not what Jesus wanted for us. And like, and I get that there's always going to be problems. Because there's sin in the world. That's never going to change until Jesus comes back one day. But it's like, I just feel like there has to be a better example than what we're doing.
Oh, absolutely. There has to be. It reminds me of something else I saw somewhere about the story of the prodigal son, and this idea that the brothers had an issue, but the brother to brother issue was never going to be resolved until the one that came home like was in right relationship with his father. And then once the father relationship was restored, then he could be right with his brother. And moment of silence to let that sink in for me.
Just in the podcast right here.
Yeah.
Man, that's good.
So like being Christian is not enough. Like being in right relationship with God and having your heart before the throne of Jesus and genuinely allowing the Holy Spirit of Jesus Christ to transform and change the evil ways of our hearts is like what it's going to take. And so I would just echo what you're saying, like going to church, being a Christian, awesome, great. We love that. We do love that. However, like get on your knees, like literally you need to, just like be so real. Because exactly what you said, Jesus was all of these things, and man, should we?
Like, I'm sorry, but if Jesus was here today, he would be at the front of every protest. He would be in the homes of the people that have lost their family members, and he would not be sitting at home doing nothing, or just post like. He wouldn't be. And maybe someone's going to disagree with me, but I firmly believe that if Jesus was here today, he would be at the front lines of everything.
Yeah. And another thing I always think about is like Jesus is God. So like Jesus's time on earth, like all the times that he was found in a crowd, like he could have healed everything and calmed the crowds instantly, but a lot of the times he didn't do that. And I always think about that. It's like Jesus has the power to fix all of this instantly. Well, okay, it's different because like he's in heaven now, but if Jesus was on the earth, it's like, would he just,
people who are listening that maybe don't believe the same things as us are going to be like, what is going on?
Like, we're just two girlies trying to figure it out.
Okay.
But what was I saying? Just like, I don't know where Jesus would be if he was on the earth, but I do not think that he would stay in his house and just pray about everything.
Right. That's a word.
And I also,
and don't hear us wrong, prayer is important. Don't stop praying
continually.
That's not the issue here. Please keep praying. But I think
another thing kind of what you're you might have cut out. I think I cut you off. Anyway. The thing that honestly is like hard for me too is like the complexity of these issues and like of the responses is sometimes beyond, it's, I guess, like in my brain and in my heart, it's like, I just want there to be like a simple answer. There
Yeah.
is not a
Yeah.
the problem is not simple. The responses are not simple. The emotions that come with it is not simple. Like what we're supposed to be doing is not simple. And so it's like pray, donate, like petition, do like there are lists and lists and lists of things that we can be doing.
Educate yourselves.
Educate yourselves. Like
me include
podcast,
like
read books. Yeah. Oh, literally
all added at me.
Right here.
I think
I'm about to listen to this podcast back and be like, okay, here we go.
And we like, and I think what's so important to say is that like, especially as two white females, we are not, if this is the first thing you've listened to that's talked about this, that's an issue. You know what I mean?
Also, let me see a picture of the rock that you're living under.
That's so true. But I think that like we have to recognize as white people that like I am not, don't take my word for everything. You know what I mean?
That's so good, Sarah.
Like
that's really important.
that's I think number one. So don't think that I'm sitting over here like I know it all. I do not know any.
Actually, on that same idea, I would say that yeah, definitely don't take what we're saying as like the end all be all, because no, just don't do that. But
number one, don't ever do that. Like no matter what we're talking about. I am not an expert on anything. Anything that Kitty and I talk about are our own feelings, and so please do not matter what it is.
First thing, thank you for letting us talk about our feelings, and thank you for being here for it and like I don't know, enjoying it sometimes. We actually really appreciate that. Two, I was gonna say like back to the idea that it's like about relationship, like talk to your friends, like talk to your friends of color, ask them how they're doing, tell them that you love them and that you honor them, that you stand with them, and then ask them like, how can I love you, like how can I love you better, what is going to I think you're okay, you're back. You were frozen for a second. You know, I think that I was encouraged by my I was about to be like, my college pastor, freaking Jonathan. Jonathan was like, reach out to your friends and to our community. And I think that's really real. I saw something like, do we even know what the family of George Floyd wants?
Gosh, yeah.
Like, what is justice for them? What would be serving them well and loving their, like, his family well? And I thought that was really profound because it's like,
yeah. I think what you said was so good, how you said check in on them, ask them how I can love you better, and not, I've seen so many things, which I think that this was so, I was like, oh, this is great for me to see. It's like, don't expect your Black friends to educate you. Mm-hmm. It's not their job. You know what I mean? Like, it is not their job. Yeah. And I think that there's a difference in like, you know, take that. Don't be like, great, I can't ever ask anyone a question ever again. That's not what I'm saying. No. But like, it's not, you know, you need to educate yourself, and maybe one of your friends is a resource and they say that's okay. Like, this is all situational, but I love how it's not like, okay, let me go to my Black friends and ask them for them to tell me everything they know. No. No,
people are only credible for their own personal experiences.
And also, like, that's just not their you know what I mean? Like, they don't need to be worrying about educating their white friends.
Yeah, no.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, that's no one's responsibility.
Yeah. And so, but I think checking in on people, asking them how I can love you better is just so good, because I think it'd be easy to be like, oh, great, I'm going to go ask all my Black friends and people that I know to tell me about what I'm missing. No, like.
Yeah. Yeah, just trying to love people more deeply and respect them and see them as our family is so important.
And I think I just need to say this again. If anything that I have said is incorrect, or you feel like might be incorrect, or that is wrong, please let me know. Like, you know what I mean? Like, this, we're all learning, and so how will I know if
someone doesn't tell us?
If someone doesn't tell me. And so, and I truly want to learn. So please, if we've said something incorrectly or you think our intentions are incorrect, please let us know. Like,
I love the like normalize changing your opinion after you have become more educated.
Yeah.
I think that is so cool and so important. Like the humility in that statement of like, I'll say it too, like I am more than capable of being wrong and being offensive and being
Yes.
incorrect. So again, like what Sarah's saying, just
I
like talk to us. I think it should just be
please.
a continual conversation, not and like one thing I think Sarah could agree with is like one thing we love the most about the podcast is when it creates more conversations
Yes.
with the people
Oh,
that listen to us.
the
Like
best
we don't
thing.
want to just sit here and like we love you talking to each other, obviously, but like we want to talk to you guys too. And we would love
Yes.
for this to be a continual conversation because like we're saying, I think that's gonna just be more Asian for change.
Yeah.
Um
No, do you know who Nona Jones is?
yeah, that sounds familiar.
She's like an author, speaker, pastor, whatever.
Okay.
She, not whatever. Amazing woman. She tweeted this. I've seen it kind of a lot. It says, it's like quotes. It says pride. The quote is, I don't understand, so you're wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Humility, I don't understand, will you help me try?
I've seen that. That's so good.
And it's like, man, that's it right there. Like, it's
Yeah.
not about you being right and, oh, I'm on Instagram. Okay, I should not have gotten to
This was like
Instagram.
when I got on. I thought like getting on Twitter would be a good idea during the podcast, and I got so
Yeah.
distracted. And
Yeah. No, the Hype House just posted that they made new merch that says "We stand together, Black Lives Matter," and all their proceeds are going to Campaign Zero and the Marshall Project. It
that's
just came up
cool.
on my
Did you see Kanye West donated $2 million and is paying the college tuition of George Floyd's daughter?
No, I didn't see that.
Yeah, that's so cool.
Wow. Man, this is
I think you said this already, but like seeing celebrities use their
Mhm.
platform for good and like using their resources
Yeah.
has been really cool to see. Which we said that about Corona too, I think.
No, we did. We did. And I feel like this, I mean, obviously Corona's a big deal. Don't like come crucify me. But I feel like this is like more important. That sounds, maybe
The
that's
thing is,
terrible.
like, eventually the coronavirus will not
Will,
go away, but it's like there's there's a scientific cure to the coronavirus. There's no
yes.
scientific cure that for racist people.
Yeah. Yeah, no, for sure.
So no, I would agree.
Yeah. Man.
Another thing about doing this is we're not we're not looking at a time, so I have no idea how long we've been talking.
No, me neither, because I don't even remember what time we like started. And I also started thinking, I was like, how do we talk about anything else after this? Like,
Well, right. It's like, oh yeah, so what have you been up to? Like, no.
yeah.
Hold on.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure
Like,
I texted you that I emailed you the link an hour ago.
So we probably, I don't know how long it's been. Okay, next time we do this, we're gonna have to put a timer on or something.
Okay, y'all, we're just learning.
What?
Hashtag learning.
No, for real though, man. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, we could talk about other stuff, but
I just don't even know how. Like, how do we move on from this conversation? I'm not really sure. That's like this whole, I saw a tweet. Okay, maybe this is a bad idea going to the tweet. But I did think I was kind of like, I think that the interesting part now is seeing how quickly people are moving on.
Okay.
And I don't know that just because people are posting normal things now means that they're over it. That's not what I'm saying at all.
Yeah.
So don't be like, I posted something about this. And no, like, that's what I'm saying. But it's just interesting to see that, because I wasn't sure. I was like,
Like, what's gonna happen?
Yeah, like what happens after this? So someone tweeted and said, the timeline is slowly becoming normal, in quotes. And I want to remind my mutuals that BLM isn't a trend. Black Lives Matter today, tomorrow, the day after, forever. And I was like, that's so good, because yes, I think eventually, already my feeds are normalizing a little bit, my Twitter is still pretty, like, I think Twitter is one of those things that like never goes back. What is normal Twitter? I don't even really know.
I have no idea.
But like my Instagram has slowly started like normalizing. My TikTok has slowly started. And so I just think that's so important to remember that, like, okay, other people are posting, other things are being posted and talked about now, but that does not mean this is over. that does not mean that, oh, great, we've done it. No.
Yeah, no.
Like for the rest of our lives, we're going to be learning and dealing with this. And so I just thought that was
Yeah.
I saw that tweet and I was like, that's really good. Like,
Yeah. I was thinking about that too, like kind of like what happens after the social media blow up. I was kind of like, what happens now? But it's like we were saying in the beginning, before social media blew up, this was an issue. Like whether we were aware of it or concerned about it or not, this has been this for our entire lives. Every second that we've been alive, racism has been an issue. And it's just like we were fortunate enough for it to come to the forefront of social media to get people's attention, and to convict hearts probably somehow. But now that's going away, the media is going away, the issue does not go away. And I guess there's two sides of that. Is like I've like felt like almost guilt for like wanting to use social media in the way that is quote unquote normal. And so that's one thing, I guess. It's like, okay, as social media normalizes, like I don't think people should be, it's like because I post a picture of me and my friends, whatever, doing whatever, it's like my heart is still hurting and my heart is still broken for this.
No, definitely. And like, that's what I was saying. Like, don't think that if I saw you post something normal, whatever. That's not the right word we should be using probably, but, non-Black Lives Matter related. I don't think I'm sitting here like they're terrible. Like, because no, like we can't, but I almost think that like, you know, as things normalize, I hope they never go back to where they were.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I hope that it's now normalized for us to see this type of information and educational material. Literally the books that I got were literally books I found on a million people's Instagrams.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, everyone's posting about this book, White Fragility. I'm going to go get it.
Yeah.
Oh, everyone's posting about, so you want to talk about race? Okay, I'm going to go get it. So like, please never, like, I hope that we never go back to a time where we weren't talking about these things out in the open.
Right. Or I think
I take back my like, I don't even really know what that means anymore.
That's a hard thing. I think that's been a conversation too with the coronavirus about people being like, can't wait to get back to normal. But like, what does normal really mean?
Yeah.
And I think normal could almost be synonymous in the context that we're talking with like comfort. Because a normal Instagram feed is where like we're almost like mindlessly scrolling and nothing is catching our attention and it's just comfortable and we're not aware of anything.
And it's the highlight reels.
It's the highlight reel, of course. Man, we should do another podcast on social media, Instagram. Here we go again.
Wow, we've become a totally different podcast.
We have, but
necessarily.
What was that? I forgot where I was going with that.
I think just like this makes us this is uncomfortable.
I was gonna say that
calling things out, calling people out.
That's what I was gonna say. I think in the past, like with this going on, it's like people have become very bold, rightly so, to call people out for what they're doing. And I think that's awesome. I think that's really obviously like out of a good place and out of love and out of a desire for there to be change. The social media accountability has been really real.
I think my favorite thing I've seen, let's just say today, because I don't know that I could say for the last week, was the NFL players who made the video. Have you seen this? It's Michael Thomas starts the video. You haven't? I think I retweeted it. It's NFL. It's Black NFL players, and basically they're calling out the NFL for not putting out a real statement. Wow. They put out something stupid. And so in it, they all say, there's this one part towards the end where they were like, this is what we want to hear. We as the National Football League, blah, blah, blah. And it's so, I'm going to send it to you. It's
please
very powerful. And I was like, that's accountability.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's them saying, this is NFL, I don't know what you thought your little statement was going to do. That's not okay. So we're going to tell you what should have been said. And I was like, oh man, it was, Thomas is in it. Odell Beckham. I'm drawing a blank now. Tyrann Mathieu was in it.
Yeah.
there were a lot of people in it.
Well, and I think what's so cool and like something that we should hang on to moving forward back into comfortable social media is like the awareness of, I guess, what we're posting, like the awareness of how what we're posting is going to affect other people, and also like what kind of message it's sending about ourselves.
Yeah.
Which is something I definitely try to be aware of and consider every time I post something anywhere. But yeah, that increased accountability of our hearts when we're maneuvering the vast black hole that is complicated social media.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a tricky one.
Oh, it is. Man. Here we are. I don't even know how long this has been.
It's probably been like our normal time, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't really care.
It's true.
It can be any time. I'll put it up there. Should we call it quits, or should
I guess. I like don't even know how to end.
I know. We're just like staring at each other. I don't know. You want to pray for these people?
Actually, yeah, I'd love to.
Okay, go for it.
Oh, we're going real serious today.
I hope this isn't as serious as it gets, actually. I care immensely about the hearts of the world, and whatever. Yeah. We will turn this podcast serious in a heartbeat if it means lives will be changed.
Correct. Yeah, I'll pray.
Okay, awesome.
Okay. I'm like, do I close my eyes? How do I
do whatever you want?
Okay. Heavenly Father, first we just thank you for who you are. We thank you for your character. We thank you for your love. God, I just pray for all the people, our country, our world, God. I pray specifically for Black lives. God, we know that Black lives matter. Black lives have mattered, will matter, do matter, all the things, God. They are made in your image just like everyone else, God. Oh, man. God, you perfectly make each and every one of us. You don't make mistakes. You make people exactly as they should be, God. And so I just pray that that people's eyes would be open and that their hearts would begin to change, God, and that people would just start to recognize that everyone is made in your image, God. Black lives matter, and I think that you would be down here shouting that with us too. And so, God, I just pray for the hearts and for our eyes to be opened, and I'd also pray for safety for people that are protesting, for people that are on the front lines. God, I just pray that you would protect them, and that safety would come from you, and that you would be their shield, God. And I just pray for change. This is difficult and hard and can be hard to articulate sometimes, God, but I just pray for change in me, change in our country, change in the hearts of everyone, God. This starts right here with me. And so I pray that I would never forget that too, God, that that this isn't just about other white people or other people that have issues or other people that have heart problems, God. This is about me. And so I pray that change would start right here, God, would start right here with us. Man, God, I'm just so thankful for you and so thankful for your son. And so thankful that we continue to learn and continue to grow and continue to change and experience transformation. I'm so incredibly thankful for that. And it's in your son's name that we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Wow.
I love that. Thank you for praying.
Yeah, of course. Hopefully, honestly, what did I just say? I don't even know.
Me, every time I quit prayer, I'm like, did that make any sense?
But I think, oh man, we can talk about prayer forever. Prayer doesn't have to make sense. God knows what we're saying.
God knows. Yeah. Man, shout out Nicole Brooks. We didn't do any shout outs, but I'm going to shout her out. One of the most like beautiful things that she ever told me.
Mm-hmm.
So simple every time. And it's just like, oh,
Yeah.
the Lord will use you. Like that is just like a rock solid truth that, and just like right now, like the Lord will use this podcast. The Lord will use us to advocate for change in people's hearts for God's glory. And I love that.
So good.
Love that.
Wow. I loved this episode.
Me too. Wow. How cool. How cool.
True. Wow.
Hate that we're talking about it. Love that we get the privilege to simultaneously talk about it.
Yeah.
It's
for sure. And I think what's crazy is to think if we would have had this conversation a month ago, maybe even 2 weeks ago, I don't know. I think that me personally, I would have said different things. Not completely like where now I'm, but I think that just the education that has happened and the learning that has happened in this past whatever has been great.
Yeah, and may we continue to learn 2 weeks from now.
Yeah.
We have even more whole opinions and our hearts are even closer to the heart of God. Guys, thanks for being with us.
Yes.
Thank you for tuning in. I think it's awesome that if you listen the whole way, like, I think that's really respectable. I think opening your ears and opening our hearts to this matter, like we've said, is going to be what's going to make the difference.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. So glad that y'all were here with us. Thanks for hearing our hearts. We'd love to hear from you guys, like we said.
Please send us resources that you found helpful. Send us people we should be following. Send us what you think. Please don't let this
challenge us. Like challenge what we've said.
Yes.
Sarah and I are really eager to grow in all capacities. So
yes, 100%. I think just like this is like goes, okay, as a Christian, this will be brief, I promise. We are always growing with Jesus. We will never reach a point where we're just like, I know it all.
I've arrived.
The end. That's just not how it goes.
Yeah.
And this plays right into that. I will never be at a point where I'm like, I just know it all. No. So like, please reach out, talk to us, send us things. Please.
Totally. Thanks,
all
guys.
Right. Yeah, thank y'all for listening. This was great.
Yeah, we'll see you next week.
Okay. Bye, y'all.
Woo!
Are we still? Oh, we're still recording.
YouTube.
Are people watching these videos? Who's watching this right now?
Yeah, we're getting some views. Let me look. Kendall just texted me all caps. I am moving to Asheville, North Carolina. She's in North Carolina right now.
Oh, I was like, what?
Yeah. Brienne said, at least she's notifying us.
Okay.
Catherine. YouTube. Yeah, we're getting some views. If y'all are liking the YouTube videos, comment down below.
Yeah, I feel like every week we say like, hey, tell us this, tell us that. Let us know if you're listening. And then no one does, but we get listens and we get views. So are y'all just ignoring our pleas or? There's
21 views on 7 and there's 12 on episode 9.
So who are you people? Why are you not? In the last episode, we literally said, let us know who's listening. And guess who let us know who's listening? No one.
Approximately 0 people. Abby Jahan Sahan, but she didn't even let me know. I guess she technically let me know by texting me, but
I'm dead. So, like, I'm confused. Where are you people?
Who are you? Ghost listeners.
Okay, not ghost.
Anyway, whatever. Hey, YouTube. Thanks for being here. Subscribe to my YouTube channel.
Hit that like button. Smash that subscribe button. Turn on that bell for post notifications. Give this a big old... Oh, I already said that. Give us a comment. Share us with Lil Huddy.
Yeah.
All the things.
I'm ending it.
Okay.